Hello, everyone. My name is G.Bricalli, and I am the president of the European ME Alliance. I thank Independent Living for inviting me to speak at its international conference. The European ME Alliance was founded in 2008. It is composed of charities and patient organizations in 18 countries. The Lithuanian member society is Independent Living, which encompasses all types of disabilities, including myalgic encephalomyelitis, MECFS. EMEA is an authoritative source of information on MECFS. It collaborates with international experts and is an officially accredited non-state actor with WHO Europe. MECFS has been recognized as a serious physical illness by the World Health Organization, the European Parliament, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the U.S. Institute of Medicine, and other renowned institutions. The UK NICE guidelines on how to diagnose MECFS state that the distinguishing symptom is post-exertional malaise. It is the worsening of symptoms that can follow minimal cognitive, physical, emotional, or social activity. EMEA was pleased to see the Lithuanian health minister at WHO's 74th European session, where WHO Europe's director, Dr. Hans Kluge, issued the following statement about MECFS. He said, "Non-state partners like EMEA are crucial in our WHO Europe mission to achieve universal health coverage, ensuring no one is left behind." EMEA's recent survey highlights severe disability levels and unmet needs among MECFS patients in Europe, underscoring the urgent need to recognize MECFS as a serious physical illness. Why do MECFS patients require urgent recognition and care? Well, it's because sufferers spend hours each day in bed due to extreme and debilitating fatigue. Sufferers' energy levels are low and limited, so they have no endurance. They have to choose what they can do based on their energy level, which can vary from one moment to the next. Sufferers may look fine, but they are not. Their bodies do not produce enough energy for them to function normally. And medical professionals have a dangerous lack of knowledge of MECFS and often do not diagnose patients or misdiagnose them. Examples of the severity of MECFS: some patients sadly even resort to suicide because the burden of the disease becomes too heavy, especially in countries where there is no diagnosis or only a clinical diagnosis because no medical diagnostic tests or biomarkers exist. This makes the situation of these patients hopeless and unbearable because without a diagnosis, they are denied all kinds of assistance and are pushed into poverty. MECFS sufferers need personal assistance because an MECFS sufferer's body does not produce enough energy. Therefore, they must choose, for example, between brushing their teeth, taking a shower, getting dressed, paying their bills, making a phone call, gathering medical papers, etc., because they barely have enough energy to do one of these tasks. MECFS is different from other illnesses or disabilities. Even if others have a severe disability, if they have some energy, they can ask for help. MECFS patients have no energy, so they cannot make phone calls, write letters, explain their situation, and ask for help. Sufferers have been pushed into poverty because they cannot work and have to pay themselves for assistance, which is not possible. Sufferers' human rights are violated because their basic needs are not met, threatening their very survival. The EMEA survey of MECFS patients in Europe shows that over 11,000 participants from 44 countries reported that MECFS sufferers desperately need assistance now. The main conclusions of the EMEA survey were that patients have profound disability levels and unmet needs, that access to medical care and social support varies across Europe, resulting in both a general but dangerous neglect of the illness, with different approaches taken by national health societies impacting courses of illness and disease outcomes. There is an urgent priority to recognize ME/CFS as a serious illness and provide better medical care, financial support, and social services. Our moral, united obligation to ME/CFS sufferers is reflected in the findings of the EMEA survey, which are sounding the alarm for families, friends, teachers, religious leaders, lawyers, the media, etc., to avoid remorse later of not having helped ME/CFS sufferers now, because currently they too are victims of misinformation about ME/CFS. Our united moral responsibility towards sufferers is that as awareness of ME/CFS grows, people will realize the unintentional harm they have caused sufferers by not taking their illness seriously enough and not providing them with timely and adequate care and assistance to help alleviate their suffering, their marginalization, and their deprivation of their rights as citizens. We ask the question, why are ME/CFS sufferers denied personal assistance? No one would abandon a helpless infant at home alone or deny necessary help to a person with a disability. So the question that needs to be answered is, how do we avoid harmful neglect of ME/CFS sufferers by all members of society, meaning all professions and the general public? For example, the media in some countries not informing enough about this humanitarian crisis. Some thoughts for reflection on meeting ME/CFS sufferers' needs at the national level. Is your country raising awareness about ME/CFS and providing information to citizens in your national language as mandated by the 2020 EU resolution on ME/CFS? The resolution states under point 15, the European Parliament invites the Commission and the member states to launch information and awareness-raising campaigns among health professionals and the public in order to alert the population to the existence and symptoms of ME/CFS. Under point Q, it states, specifically targeted training should be provided to raise awareness among public health authorities, healthcare providers, and officials in general. The second question is, what is your country doing to make sure that ME/CFS sufferers have their basic needs fulfilled, such as food on their tables, water to drink, a warm place to live, a quiet place to get adequate rest, and a feeling of safety and security that they have people and doctors they can depend on? Because many Lithuanian citizens may genuinely not be aware of what is happening in their country with those suffering from ME/CFS, we invite you to find out more about ME/CFS on the internet. For example, there is the WHO Europe video in support of ME/CFS by Dr. Cathal Morgan, who is the Technical Officer for Disability Services. He says, we know that research and treatments will take time. In the meantime, governments must address the urgent ethical question of how to provide assistance today to ME/CFS patients, both to respect their basic human rights and their rights under the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So we invite you to learn more about how you can help your fellow citizens with ME/CFS whose illness is unrecognized so that they are not left behind. We have two requests from EMEA. The first one is, can you provide EMEA with an official national contact person for ME/CFS so that we can invite them to attend or speak at our conferences, roundtables, and webinars, or even just to dialogue with them? And can you provide EMEA with the name of at least one clinician and one researcher willing to join our European ME Research Group, an international network of ME/CFS researchers and clinicians? EMEA will be happy to support your country with our expertise in ME CFS. Please feel free to contact us at info@europeanmealliance.org. We will be happy to answer your questions on the Independent Living Association's Facebook account. And we invite people from all walks of life to ask us any questions and provide us with comments on their viewpoint of ME CFS in Lithuania. In closing, I will say that EMEA also partners with other organizations that support our call to recognize ME CFS sufferers and to protect their rights to personal assistance. On this last slide, you can see my disclaimer, and I thank you for your attention.